Hello guys, how you getting on? You know how this works. I've got to get in front of the camera. Right, welcome to Straight from the Horse's Mouth, and my name is Chris Bowers. I've been researching a couple of races which are happening on Friday, and I've also got an Antepost bet for you later in the programme. So, to start, we have the 320 at Newbury, which has 9 runners and is 6 furlong. Higher incentive, it pays to buy Irish, Rose Bowl Stakes Class 1 for 2-year-olds. The ground should be good to soft, and the prize winning offer is 17,000. Some interesting horses on breeding in this race. One is Bosh, who's by Profitable. Profitable is a new sire, and his first crop are now 2-year-olds. They seem to be absolutely exceptional, so it's definitely a sire to keep your eye on. And the other one is Frankella, and he's by Frankel. And we all know how good Frankel is. He's an absolutely awesome sire, and he's got a great winners to runners ratio with 2-year-olds. It's actually around 20%, so 1 in 5, believe it or not. Trainers who are looking good at the moment with their 2-year-olds. Andrew Boulding has a great strike rate with his 2-year-olds this season, and he's represented by Frankella. Richard Hannon is doing well with his current 2-year-olds, and he's represented by Bosh and Goldilocks. Clive Cox has been absolutely fantastic this season, and he's represented by Couture. So there's some interesting pointers. Let's get down to the nitty gritty though and talk about some of the horses, Now Razio, he was actually very impressive on his first run. There was a lot to like. He won in a good time by 3 lengths, and it seemed pretty easy to him. So it'd be interesting to see the improvement that animal actually has left in him. I mean, most horses come on from their first run, don't they? Frankella is the next one on my list. Now, I was very happy last time Frankella won, because I actually backed Frankella. And I backed Frankella purely on the basis in that race that it was actually a Frankel 2-year-old, and he's got such a good strike rate with him. So it wasn't like I was really, really clever or had any special knowledge or anything. I just used the stats. But in this case, it was a very small bet, and it won for me at 20 to 1. So I was incredibly pleased about this, as you can imagine. In this race, I wrote it has good breeding and a great trainer. I think it needed to run first time out, and 7 furlongs the next time was just too big an ask at that stage. The penny dropped last time, as I've just discussed. She set an excellent time winning her maiden at Newmarket. I mean, it was about 2 seconds slow. It was really good. Goldilocks won in a good time last time out at Newbury, and she won it readily. So it'd be interesting to see if there's improvement there. One for the gutter. Okay, time for its win, but there are better horses to choose in this race. As I say, it's quite a hot field. So Little Earl, he won his maiden well enough, but has seemed to be out of his depth since. Up in trip, but would need to raise its game. Detail won first time out in a good time by a neck on good to firm. So let's see if that one improves. Couture, a good trainer, won in an okay time, but was outpaced in a fast race next time, which is a little bit concerning. It didn't really cope. Bosh, from Profitable, sensational first crop. This progressive colt has been brilliant so far, winning 2 from 3 in decent times. On the breeding, this horse is very, very, very good. On the form, this horse is very, very, very good. So it'd be interesting to see if we can find one to beat it. Now, Bond Chairman won in a good time over 5 furlongs, first time out, but it hasn't gone well since. It's up in trip on a Friday, so it'd be interesting to see how he copes with the upgrade in trip. So my conclusion in this race is it's a great 2-year-old race. I mean, it's going to be a fantastic competition. There's so many good ones here. There's so many live wires. There's so many horses capable of absolutely brilliant progression. As with any 2-year-old race, it's actually reasonably difficult to pick a winner because of the level of progression, all the unknowns. This is likely to be a quick race. Frankella looks to be the best filly and has a 5-pound weight advantage over the best colt in the race, Bosh. So I think the finish is actually going to be very, very close, but I think just edging it is going to be Frankella, 10 to 1. And I'm recommending a 1-point win on a 4-point system, so a low bet. Okay guys, but that's my first selection for you. Second race now. This is a bit later in the day. 8 o'clock Hamilton. It's got 6 runners. It's the 1 mile 3 British Stallion Studs EBF Glasgow Stakes listed race. They don't make these titles easy to remember or say, do they? It's for 3-year-olds and the going should be good. But we'll see, weather dependent, as is everything. On breeding, there's a couple that are interesting. Glenatney basically is by Le Havre, who's got an 18% strike rate at 10 to 11 furlongs. King's Prince is by Kingsman, who has a 17% strike rate at 10 to 11 furlongs. Trainers in form with their 3-year-olds include Rolf Beckett, who's having a great season on with his 3-year-olds on turf with a 23% hit rate, and represented by Alias today. Titles trainer Roger Varian has a 24% hit rate with 3-year-olds on turf. That's crazy. That's nearly 1 in 4. So if you're just betting blind on Roger Varian, and he'd be effectively winning 1 in every 4 times through statistically this season. Impressive. Right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. There's 6 horses. This won't take too long. The first one, the Flying Ginger. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? The trainer is well out of form with his 3-year-olds currently though. And the Flying Ginger's recent win was in a good time over a mile and 2, contested against a smaller field. He's never won further than a mile, and I can't see him doing it this time. Cracking the filly, I've actually got down as regressive in my notes. That means its official rating is going down, which is not a good sign for a horse at this age. Cracking the filly, unless stepping her up in trip produces massive improvement, this task is well beyond her. You would have to be slightly crazy, or possibly the owner, in order to have a wager on this animal. Then you've got the progressive Alias, informed trainer, has to be respected. Alias had a great time running around a mile for his first 4 runs, coming first 3 times and second in his debut run. Stepped up in trip in his last run to a mile and 3 and got smashed by Lion Eagle in a slow race. I think he needs shorter than this to be effective. Right, King's Prince by Kingsman, extremely well bred colt. He's had 2 wins so far. 1 was over a mile, 1 was over a mile and 4. And in the mile and 4 race, he contested as a 3-year-old. He beat the opposition so comprehensively, he was eased in the final strides. This is a step up in class, but he should handle it very well. Glenatney. The headline form is finishing 6.5 lengths behind Snowfall over a mile 2.5 last time out in May. In that race, she finished 5 from 7 and weakened from 2 furlongs out. Mystery Angel beat her by 2.25 lengths and finished 4th, 4.25 lengths behind Snowfall. Okay, got this? Next time, over a mile and 4 furlongs in the Oaks, Mystery Angel was decimated 16 lengths behind Snowfall into second. I don't think that even with Le Havre on the side, Glenatney is going to stay this distance properly. And the next one, Title. Now that's a horse everyone's going to be interested in, isn't it? The trainer is in very good form with the 3-year-olds. And Title's got some good entries, including the St. Ledger. So it's obviously got some stamina. The form says he's going to stay the trip. His maiden win was a bit slow though. He beat Blow That Horn by 6 3/4 lengths that day at level weights. Okay. Next time out, Blow That Horn was beaten by King's Prince by 7 lengths, who won in a good time and was eased in the final strides. King's Prince was carrying 7 pounds more weight than Blow That Horn that day. Now, that to me says that King's Prince should be faster than Title. Should be faster than Title. So, conclusion on the face of it, very competitive, small field, which did surprise me when I had a look. I mean, the only one that's really quite awful, in my opinion, allegedly, is Kraken Filly. But my selection is King's Prince. and I think he'll absolutely smash them. I really like this one. I think he's going to improve again. He's got excellent breeding and form and can make it 3 out of 3. I'm recommending basically 3 points on a 4-point system at 5 to 2. So imagine that 2 points is your standard bet and 4 points is your biggest bet, then 3 points is the one you'd have in between. I think he's got an absolutely cracking chance. I'm really looking forward to seeing it actually. Right, now I've talked about those, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you an Antepost tip. The channel had its first winner. Hooray! Hurricane Lane. Yes, won at Longchamp last night. 1 to 4, went on the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe track. It was absolutely sensational. It galloped around, having a great old time, just lurking really. And then in the last corner, it started to pull forwards, and it was phenomenal. 3 furlongs out, it was accelerating hard. 2 furlongs out, basically, it's got 3 lengths. Like, coming across the line, it's got 6.5 lengths. What? That's mad. So fast. Wordsworth said the rider said he had to absolutely light up the horse just to stay on the tail of the Hurricane Lane. Now, if you look at the betting today, you'll see that Hurricane Lane has actually gone top of the betting. Yesterday he was 10 to 1, and now he's 11 to 2. Bearing in mind the quality of the opposition, I still think that Hurricane Lane can win this race. It's in October, so it's a while away. Other horses are going to progress. But I mean, when I look at some of the opposition, you have Love, the shy horse by Aidan O'Brien, who, let's face it, the ground has to be just right, otherwise it's not going to turn up. And if it did turn up, yes, it might cause Hurricane Lane some problems, but let's face it, it's not going to turn up. As much as we want to see it turn up, it doesn't mean that Aidan O'Brien's going to give us the chance to actually witness it in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. Yeah. Then you have St Mark's Basilica, who I like to think Hurricane Lane could probably win against St Mark's Basilica. I really do think that he would have the beating of him. It may only be a length or 2, but I'm sure that if you showed Hurricane Lane the task, he would just do it like he does everything else. And then you look at Snowfall. Snowfall is absolutely fantastic. But can Snowfall really deal with Hurricane Lane? I just don't know. But what I would say is that 1 point, so a small bet at 11 to 2 on the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe for Hurricane Lane sounds absolutely fantastic, and I cannot reiterate how much I enjoyed watching him last night. He steamrolled the field, he decimated them, he destroyed them, he embarrassed them, he showed no mercy, he was pitiless. Okay, so just to recap on the bets, it's the 320 Newbury, 6 furlong race on Friday, 1 point on Frankella, 10 to 1. The 8 o'clock Hamilton 1 mile 3 race, we have 3 points on King's Prince at 5 to 2. In the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe mile and 4 race, I'm recommending Hurricane Lane at 11 to 2, 1 point. Let's face it, he's just won over course and distance, hasn't he? Go Hurricane Lane! Okay, so thank you very much for watching me, and there'll be another video about Saturday's racing, probably tomorrow, around the same kind of time. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know why. If you've got any opinions about the races which I said, or if you don't agree with anything, then let me know. If you've got anything you'd like me to include, if you've got any content you really enjoyed or content which you'd like me to provide, then let me know. And yeah, so to keep me encouraged, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll keep making these videos. So thank you very much for your time, guys, and best of luck to you.